Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? This is a very warm afternoon, actually. It's 1:03 p.m. On a Friday in my beautiful home. So, have you planned for your weekend already? Joe told me that tomorrow is going to be in the 90s. So, it's a pool day. I haven't touched the pool since um, since the fall, right? The fall has just started probably a couple of weeks ago, and it's been pretty chilly. So I'm celebrating today. It's a warm day. Um, how are you, ladies? I'm so excited to talk to you again. Now, today I would like to touch a very subject I'm sure that is so close to your heart. This is about how smoke gets in your eyes. But before we get to that, let's talk a few updates from the Katarina realm. Of course, whenever I went for a week or so, when I come back, there are pieces of engagement news, right? You know that it's my trademarks. So we had two engagement news the last couple of weeks. Number 21, 29, and number 30. Number 29 is Yuki. Congratulations to you, Yuki, and I would like to read your story, and I would like to actually address certain aspects of your story, which is the basis of today's conversation, today's class. And the other one is Nika. Nika is from my home country, Indonesia. Nika, I'm so happy for you. Finally, you got what you want, though you haven't got back to tell your story yet. I would love to hear your complete story, what happened, because I understand you had a long-term relationship with your husband, right? So not sure how you pull this off, but we would like to hear you. And that's the great news, two engagement news. So if you are always in the state of wondering what's wrong with your relationship, it never goes anywhere, please come to me. I'll fix it for you once and for all. And another one, we have finished Module 5, Salvation Through Relationship. Originally, I planned it for like 2 or 3 classes, but I'm never sure about anything, you see, because my modus operandi is always like going with the flow, see what happens, right? So the last class, supposedly the last class, was probably like a couple of weeks ago. We talked about let the chips fall where they may. It is a very interesting module, ladies. So if you want to go deeper into inner work, this is the module for you. But here's the thing. I would like to update the program because I've got something new to share with you. So what happened was this was involving the third wheel. And our third wheel is our baby. And her name is the Frax or Freckles. She really is a third wheel. And I'm going to tell you in a bonus class of Module 5, Salvation Through Relationship, what happened with our relationship since Freckles got in the picture. It hasn't been easy, funnily enough. And it's not what you think it is. So I'm sure this will give you a lot of insights through the ebbs and flows of a long-term relationship, how you and your partner can drift apart, right? Over a baby and sometimes over a dog, believe it or not, if certain conditions are fulfilled. Like, for example, you're obsessed with your dog, so you need each other less. So I'm going to address the bonus class on Module 5, Salvation Through Relationship, talking about what happened with our relationship since Freckles came into the picture. That's number 1. Number 2, if you're not in the feminine goddess enlightened relationship membership, monthly membership, I encourage you to be in that program because you got to really work with me very close, one-on-one, for only like $77 a month. That is nothing compared to the results you'll be getting or you've been hearing day in, day out with me, okay? So Without the results, I will not have this. So just, I don't ask you to take me at a face value, but I'm a person of substance. Okay, so in the next class of the monthly membership, I would like, this is based on Sally's suggestion maybe, or Sally's question, if I had ever a class on turning a friend zone into a romantic zone. So Sally, this is for you, honey. So sign up for the monthly membership. I will post all the links that you guys need later on after the class. So the next class, I believe, will be next weekend. We're gonna talk about why a guy friend zones you and how you can turn it around. And mind you, I have helped thousands of women just turn an EUM into EAM. For you who is new to our realm, EUM stands for emotionally unavailable man. But it's just often a misnomer. And if you're following me, you will understand why it's a misnomer more often than not. Because they're not really EUM. They are actually just normal guys who feel pressured because you are leading with your masculine energy. That is the short story of it. So how I've helped thousands of women turning their EUM into EAM, or emotionally available man. So if you have a problem, if you're in a situationship one after another and never goes anywhere, first of all, of course, read my ebook, okay? Because it's the Bible for dating, hands down. Most of my clients do not only read it once, they read it at least maybe 3 times. Many of them just read it over and over and over. Whenever they feel they need reinforcement or they're relapsing, even after years, they go back to that one ebook and read it again, just to remind them why they are this precious goddess that already has whatever it is to attract the man they adore, or any man who finds them attractive. So get my ebook, don't be cheap, please. This is for your growth. That ebook doesn't only help relationship, actually. That ebook helps every aspect of your life, because it's based on timeless wisdom. That's what it is, okay? So that is number 2. Number 3, of course, do not plan your New Year's Eve before you talk to me, please, because I've got a big event coming that involves 4 different options. A retreat, of course. You can choose 2.5 or 3.5 days. But also, if you cannot come for the retreat because maybe it's too expensive, you cannot afford it, and if you are living around the area like Los Angeles or San Diego or anywhere near those 2 cities, please come to the New Year's Eve Leaning Back workshop live with Karina, the queen of lean back. Okay, and I'll teach you the ins and outs of leaning back, either in dating or in long-term relationships. And I will also address a new subject that most of you don't even understand. Most of you do not know, which is how to just be, how to get out of your head, how to get out of your analytical mind. So get out of that doing mode and get into being mode, which will guarantee any man will find mesmerizing. Guarantee, guy. And how to just be and how to surrender to your vulnerability. So just one day, if you cannot come to the whole weekend, 2 or 3 days, come just for the New Year's Eve day, leaning back and cultivating feminine workshop, in which you will learn the ins and outs of leaning back in both in dating and relationship. As you well know, I perfect the leaning back concept like no other. That is why my results are phenomenal, phenomenal, because nobody else teaches that, to the point that I teach it. This is emotional intelligence. That's what I teach you guys. If you have the emotional intelligence that I teach, you can never fail in your love life. And you cannot fail in life either, because you are okay no matter what, which is the key. Being okay with yourself, that is the key. And I teach all about that, okay? That self-mastery skills that will bring you into a higher level of awareness, higher level of consciousness, that will obviously bring more results, higher results in your life, whatever it is that you'll pursue. Could be a love relationship, a family probably that you always dreamed of, or a career, business, whatever it is. It all boils down to one thing: with you being okay with yourself, with you operating from a place of abundance, from a place of wholeness and fullness. So you don't want to miss that New Year's Eve leaning back for shop. And we have just opened the early bird specials, which is, I forgot how much do you get a discount, but you'll get a discount. Okay, so but I only can take maybe the first 5 people for the discounts. And not just that, we will also stay until the dawn of January the 1st, 2018, because we're gonna party on that night, the New Year's Eve party, which is also sold separately. If you just want to come for the party, you are more than welcome. We're gonna have a blast, ladies. We're gonna probably, eat gourmet food, dance, sing. We're just gonna have fun. So you don't want to miss the big bang of 2017 by coming to my beautiful home and learn self-mastery. Okay, so thank you. Now, I would like to read Yuki's story. Yuki, again, congratulations, honey. So I'm gonna just read your story here. I was introduced to this group, by a good friend of mine who wanted me to see what I thought of Kat's teachings. I was in a relationship with whom you would call an EUM for 2 years, and thought that the relationship was great. However, something was off. Yes, we saw each other every day. Yes, we spent all our free time together. But something in me knew he wasn't the one. And over some time of reading others' posts and struggles, reading over Kat's book and lessons, I realized my relationship was really not going anywhere. And so I broke off the relationship. At that point, I was done dating ducks. I decided to get on Tinder just to see what was out there. I literally had no expectations whatsoever. I had matches with a few men, but one particular one really caught my attention, who is now my fiance. We hit it off instantaneously. It was difficult to meet up at first because we both had very busy work schedules. So in the meantime, we texted throughout the day, every day, and talked on the phone in the evenings. I was honey throughout. What is interesting was, sometime in our conversations, he said, "I'm not settling." Of course, I had no idea what he meant by that, but I do now. He dated many, many women before he met me. I asked him, what was it about the other women that turned him off? Or what was the reason those relationships didn't work out? And he said they were pushy, needy, etc. The last girlfriend pushed for a marriage so desperately that she moved from the south all the way to the northwest to be closer to him, which made him angry because he didn't want that kind of relationship with her. Then he met me and he said He knew even before meeting in person that I was the one. He has been exclusive from the very beginning, and now he put a ring on it. Ladies, do your homework. Listen to Kat's teachings. She knows what she's talking about. I can't thank Kat enough. Ladies, don't settle. Don't make excuses for losers. That fits. Don't devalue yourself. If a man really wanted to be with you, he will make every ounce of effort to be with you. Don't chase. Don't make the first contact. Lean back, ladies. It absolutely works. Thank you, Kat. I don't think this would have ever happened without your teaching and knowledge. Oh, thank you, Yuki, for your kind words. Now, this is many of you are experiencing, right? You are like hooked on a particular guy. And of course, the reason why you are hooked is pretty much related to your, whether or not you admit it, it's your wounds. It's not really so much about the guy that he's so awesome, like he is the greatest thing after a thin sliced bread. It's not that. Most of the time, these guys are not even like, they're not putting in efforts. But the less they care, the more you do. The less they care, the more you are in love. So there is something really wrong with this picture, right? So, lucky for Yuki, she probably realized through, dating or having a rotation that the EUM really has nothing to offer compared to the new guy who treated her like a queen. So it gives you a very stark contrast of what a man who is really into you, who is really like thinking serious about you, and a man who is, for whatever reason, just not stepping up, right? He's there for you, but he's very lukewarm. He's keeping you at arm's length, right? He's not very expressive with his feelings. He doesn't take you out. So, yeah, apart from the sex is great, of course. That's why you are hooked, right? So you're always wondering what's going on. And the more you try to analyze it, the more you are hit by this sense of never good enough. Isn't it true? And because you're feeling not good enough, the more you are seeking his validation and approval, because that will be like an evidence or proof to your ego, to yourself, that I am worthy. That is really a very damaging way to seek validation, or to find proof of your worthiness, of your self-worth. That's why I call this smoke gets in your eyes. When you are in this position, you just cannot see very clearly, can you? Right? So one of the ladies today, I will just read what she wrote in the group. By the way, ready, ladies? Our group is pretty awesome, so you might want to, just PM me if you want to be added on the group. I have one group which is free for everyone. So you will learn so much in the group just by being there and looking and lurking and reading other people's struggles and stories. You will learn so much. And even when you are feeling like upset or triggered or slighted by someone who says something that makes you angry or just triggers those wounds, that is also good for you, okay? So instead of telling me, why don't you tell these people not to say these things to me or other women who are looking for safe haven here? Safety, ladies, comes from within. So the fact that you don't feel safe says a lot about things you need to work on. So do not get reactive. Instead, stay and sit with those feelings. They're not gonna kill you. You only feel worse if you are reacting to those feelings. So sit with it, okay? So one of the ladies in the group just wrote this today. And mind you, she's gorgeous. This is like 10 gorgeous. A lot of you come to me, oh my God, my jaw dropped. Whenever I see your profile pictures, you are just so gorgeous, ladies. You are like 9 or 10. You know, I don't compare in terms of looks, but something that needs a little tweak from me. So you don't need to be in that position ever again with a guy in your life. Okay, so this is what you say. How does this happen? Going from having man kissing the floor you walk on to being ignored, going from being treated like a queen to booty call, being adored 1 second to being forgotten the next. I'm obviously doing something very wrong with this man, but I can't see what it is. I don't want to fight this fight anymore. I'm tired of feeling this way. I just want to be at a place, a loving relationship, someone who can stay. Sorry, I'm sick and I'm a mess today. Oh, honey, whoever your name is, I wouldn't tell. I'm sorry for you, but it doesn't have to be that way, okay? You are that way because you believe whatever your petty mind tells you. Your mind is not your friend. My mind is my friend, but to come to that place, you have to understand first the nature of the mind. Right now, you are under the mind's slavery. Yes, unfortunately, most people are enslaved by their mind. They're sentenced to prison in the chatterbox that their mind is. Okay, so there is another thing I would like to read here about. This is a quote from. Hold on a second. Let me find. I thought I write it down. Yes, this one. Not, I think yesterday or something we shared this quote that I think it's very telling. Love is a temporary madness. It erupts like volcanoes and then subsides. And when it subsides, you have to make a decision. You have to work out whether your roots have so entwined together that it is inconceivable that you should ever part. Because this is what love is. Love is not breathlessness. It's not excitement. It's not the promulgation of promises of eternal passion. It is not the desire to mate every second, minute of the day. It is not lying awake at night, imagining that he is kissing every cranny of your body. No, don't blush. I'm telling you some truths. That is just being in love, which any fool can do. Love itself, what is left over. Love itself, what is left over when being in love has burned away. And this is both an art and a fortunate accident. This is by Louis de Dernier, Captain Corelli's Mandolin. So if you haven't watched the movie, which I also haven't, you might want to check it out. But it's so beautiful and it's so true and it's so related to our subject today about smoke gets in your eyes, right? So how this falling in love is happening? Do you know why, ladies? Why we feeling in love for a certain type of man, not the other? And often it has nothing to do with the man's looks, right? Or the man's status. So every one of us is attracted to different kind of men. And what caused you to be attracted to that man and not the other man? So that is very much related to the kind of woundedness that you haven't healed, for example, right? I would tell you that probably for the longest time in my life, I had daddy issues. You know what it means? I mean, I love my father, right? My father is my hero. He, growing up, he always told me about, his hard childhood, right? His parents were poor. Sometimes I want to cry just talking about it. He told us growing up that, often he had to go hungry some days because his parents were so poor. He couldn't even finish high school because his parents were so poor. He couldn't even afford to buy, his parents couldn't afford to buy him pencils. So what he had to do, every time his pencil just like this long, he would do something about it. He would roll like paper on the pencil so he could keep using it. That is how much my father suffered growing up because his parents were poor. So the only thing that made him happy was that knowing that he could support his children. There were 3 of us, right? So I was the first, and I was always the star student. And my parents, especially my father, was very proud of me because I was like the extension of himself, of his dreams, of the person he never was because he didn't have a means for it. He couldn't even finish high school because of the poverty. So everything he did for us was just so we could stay in school, we could graduate, we could finish. So my mission, my entire life, always one thing and one thing only, to make my parents, especially my father, very happy, very proud of me. I wanted to save him. That has been something that I relive over and over throughout my adult relationships. I was always attracted to guys who needed rescue, who needed to be rescued, who was probably not established in their career, who was seeking for answer in their lives, who needed to have, to put their ducks in a row. That was the result of me trying to be my father's heroine, because he was my hero. He still is. He did everything for us, and his love and support was so unconditional. So I couldn't have a better father, and I love him to death, right? But thanks to that wound I carried all my life, that the kind of man that was attractive to me was someone who was resembling my father with traditional values, someone who was doting, of course, right? Because my father was very doting. And a lot of time, this man, wasn't really settled or wasn't really happy in their life. And the more they were unhappy in their life or like something missing in their life, the more I was attracted to them, like almost like a moth to a flame. Like, oh, I could help you. I could rescue you. Like unconsciously, I was drawn to guys like that all my life. Okay? So that is just one example of how your woundedness would decide the kind of man you're attracted to. So you can also look for, your own stories. I don't have those stories anymore. Pretty much this relationship I am in now healed my daddy issues, right? So if this is a big if this relationship is not working for whatever reason, I'll now can consciously, choose a different kind of man, a different kind of relationship. That is the magnificence of awareness, ladies. So just being aware of your wounds, of your issues, you will change your life. This is why I don't moderate our groups. There is a reason for that. Because when you are troubled by someone's opinions about something, sometimes it's not even related to you, but you relate to the criticism. That tells you something about your wounds. That is, I want you to look into that emotional reaction. Why are you so bothered by it? And hey, even I am the owner of the group. Oftentimes, sometimes, not often, sometimes some ladies would, challenge me and, make it as if, I'm doing something really horrible, right? Yeah, of course I would be annoyed by that. But a lot of times, these ladies who are so daring criticizing me, they're still there in the groups. I don't even kick them out, because now I'm not really bothered by that anymore. Because you know what? I healed a lot of things, that I perceive about myself. So if I am offended because someone say I'm fake, for example, it's only because I believe deep down that I'm probably fake. But if now somebody says that I'm fake or I'm fraud, it doesn't bother me anymore. That is progress. That means you've been healed. You see? So when nothing bothers you anymore, meaning you've come to that place of wholesomeness, wholeness, meaning you have reintegrated every part of you. So nothing that people say about you will ruffle you anymore. Because you understand that, yeah, maybe I've been that person, but I'm not anymore. And I've seen, in the old days that I was like that. But at the same time, I see their behaviors as something I used to be as well. So it's not about me, it's about them. Because I used to be that person too, very reactive, easily offended, want to control people, how to express themselves, what to say, not to say, and all this idealism, about moral values, ethics, that I would like to impose on other people. I've done that too. But these days, whatever I'm feeling, I just sit with those feelings without reacting. This is what I teach, okay? At first, it's not going to be easy. But with practice, you no longer need to react on every thought, on every feeling, on every emotion that you experience. Because now you are just the eye of the storm. What is the eye of the storm? The eye of the storm is that place right at the center of the storm in which is not affected by the storms, the hurricanes, the cyclones around it. So that is a center of stillness. Now, if you can just visualize yourself as the eye of the storm around all this craziness, all these changing realities around you, the changing phenomena that life is, but you are not affected by them, apart from you just observe and witness them in a detached fashion, then you have arrived. You've come to that place. Dwell in that stillness within you. Remember, write it down, you are the eye of the storm. You're not affected by anything around you. Only because you are duped by your mind, you think you are in the middle of it, that you are an active participant of it. No, you are just the witness. Even things when things happen to you, you can still take that detached observer position, and you're not going to be affected by it, because this one too shall pass. Everything always passes. You understand? So now back to smoke gets in your eyes. So right now you are in this sort of like magnetic draw toward this man, this EUM, who just somehow has a leash on you, pretty much, right? So you cannot do anything. And you always want to be with him. You are addicted to him. The way we are addicted to freckles. So he basically pulls the string on you. So he puts his spell on you. That is not a right position to be. And other than the woundedness that I've talked about, maybe daddy issues or mommy issues, whatever issues that you have, there is another thing that makes you dupe. That is the belief that he is the fountain of your happiness. How that happens? Because whenever you are liking a guy, you start creating these scenarios in your head about how great it is to be his wife, to be the mother of his children, to be with him, correct? So you're doing that to yourself. You are create this sandcastle in your head, and it is a sandcastle, which means it's an illusion, but you don't know it. And because you think, I need to have this sandcastle for me to be happy, to be okay with myself. So you put all your investments into it. You're not realizing the more you invest in him, the more you create the stories around it, the more you think of him, you fantasize about him, you visualize all his good qualities, how other men do not compare, the deeper you are hooked into this trap, and the more you suffer. Isn't it true? That is the history of smoke getting in your eyes. Now, when you understand that, the next time you are starting liking a guy, you put a complete stop of that very destructive habits of creating a sandcastle in your head. You can do that. And when you're not doing it, trust, he'll be very drawn to you. Like honey, like a bee to honey. Okay? You cannot be honey when you think he is God gift to women. That if you don't have him in your life, you're nothing. Okay, so work with me. I've got so many programs that can help you out of that predicament once and for all. Okay, ladies. So if you have any questions, please ask. Okay, I just read one here from Araceli. Kat, please tell me why you check and ask if I'm seeing someone. I avoid the question and change the subject. I want him back, but he tells me he's still seeing someone out of town. Araceli, he's seeing someone, and you cannot tell him that you are dating too. Why? Because you're the one down. Again, you're building this sandcastle in your head. Smoke gets in your eyes. He's very open about his status, which is he is seeing someone. Why can't you? So if he asks, just tell the truth. Yeah, I'm dating, I'm single. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to rock a boat like that. Okay? So stop putting yourself in that position, Araceli. He's not the only man who is going to rock your world. There will be other men. Okay, so be open with it and stop fantasizing about him. That is very key. Okay? So this is from Sierra. I find myself getting anxious with every man in my rotation. So I need to lean back, continue with more self-care and journey inward. Sierra, it's great that you're in journey inward. And you getting anxious with every man in your rotation. Sit with that anxiety and look at the source of that anxiety. Can you know why you are anxious? What are you thinking when you're feeling this rush of anxiety, this palpitation, or this heartbeats? Yes, you can. So just sit with that. Be, as I said, Be the eye of the storm. You are the eye of the storm. The storm right now is your anxiety. So sit with that anxiety. Look into it. Feel it. When I say look into it, it doesn't mean think about it some more. There is a difference there. Look into it, meaning you feel the feelings fully without the interruption of the mind or thoughts. Okay? And see the pattern of your thoughts at the time the anxiety arises. You will understand there and then why you're feeling anxious. You're feeling anxious because you are anticipating something in the future. Look into that. What are you anticipating? Anxiety shows you that you are not in the moment. There is no other reason for anxiety. Anxiety, it's because your mind is not sitting with you in the moment. Anxiety because the eye of the storm doesn't exist in you yet. Anxiety, it's because the eye of the storm is deactivated. So activate that eye of the storm. That is your pure awareness of what's going on around you, inside of you or outside of you. Everything. Okay? So, is that good enough, Sierra? This is from Precious. Why does he initiate conversation then leaves you hanging? Here's the thing, ladies. Nobody, when I say nobody, apart from yourself, of course, nobody can keep a conversation going on either text, messenger, or whatever, the way you expect it to be, right? Because you are anxious. If you're not an anxious person, you won't be wondering why he stops answering. Maybe he gets busy. Maybe something else distracts him. Maybe he's in the middle of work, right? So drop the expectation that people will keep a conversation on IM, on Snapchats, on WhatsApp, or text messages going forever. I don't have the time for that either. Trust me. Some of my clients recently texted me, and I just found out like probably a few days later, and I apologize for. I'm sorry, I just found out that you texted me. Didn't mean to ignore you, but it's just the way I operate. I barely look at text messages, and so I respond, and then they would say something, then I didn't respond back. Doesn't mean that I don't respect them or anything. It's just do not expect that people will keep the conversation going. Like my life is so full, I barely have time to respond to emails these days. Okay, so do not ask that question again. Just accept that many people are not going to talk forever and ever about non-issues. Unless they have something to say, they will say it. Okay? So stop expecting people, especially men, to always want to talk to you on text messages or Snapchat or Facebook. Anyway, I'm getting too excited here, okay? So expect that at some point, they will just drop out of the conversation, and that is so normal, okay? So worry more about whether or not he's asking you out. If it's just saying hi, hello on text, which is great, shows that they probably care. But a lot of times, these men don't do anything other than just shoot you a text, hi, every now and then, never ask you out. Then in that case, you probably want to stop responding to e-maintenance, okay? That's what I call e-tethering or e-maintenance. So let's see other. This is from Rosa. What are some good self-care practices? Okay, my self-care, Rosa, is really it's very easy. I just do whatever I like. really. Because my job is my hobby. My job is my passion, right? My vocation is my. So when I do my job, when I do this, for example, when I respond to your emails, when I write blog posts, I'm taking care of myself because I feel one with what is. I'm feeling fulfilled. I'm feeling happy that, I'm doing something that really dear to my heart. So find your bliss, honey. What's your bliss? Find your passion. And then maybe one day you can turn your passion into profits the way I do. And I can teach you how as well next year in my Karina Pang's Love and Life Academy, which will teach you what I do, right? You can be a coach, a life coach, or dating coach, relationship coach, or sometimes just coaching in general, and how you can do it, improve people's life, and at the same time, making money. And in the process, you're taking care of yourself because your emotional needs are being met. And other things of self-care, of course, you can just be selfish, meaning, spend on yourself. Do something nice to yourself. Go have a pampering day, a massage, or, treat yourself on a nice vacation, maybe a cruise, nice dinner, or buy you a pair of shoes, or invest in my products and programs. That is one of the most obvious self-care, investing in your personal growth, okay? So then you can grow as a person. You attract more happiness by taking care of your growth. That is key. Personal growth is important, okay? Until the day you've come to freedom, then those days are the time you invest in yourself and learn from people who have done it, who have arrived. Yeah, it's not gonna happen overnight. I'm not gonna sell you these false dreams. You can have, obviously, what I have, and I can show you how, but at the end of the day, everyone is on their own journey, and no two journeys are the same. Everyone has their own challenges, right? Their own stuff that they need to heal, they need to work on. But you will eventually get to that place in which you feel total freedom if you follow the path. This is a pathless path I'm teaching, which is full of paradoxes, of course, right? Does that answer your question, Rosa? Yes, be selfish. That is the answer for it. Be selfish. I put in quote unquote, which means obviously, the kind of selfishness that doesn't injure other people, doesn't cause harms to other people, to the environment. The kind of selfishness that just put you and your own needs first. Because a lot of people, they feel it's wrong to care about their own needs first. Okay? No, it's not wrong to be selfish. The more selfish you are, the less you expect from other people. That is how I don't expect anything from other people. Because I'm selfish. I take care of myself first. Because I myself is the most important person in my life. So you are. Okay? So don't let others guilt trip you, saying that, you're not good because you're selfish, you're narcissistic, this and that. That is their own problem. Okay, that they project outside. And this is from Jacqueline. How do you balance being an independent woman with being feminine and not masculine? Balance, yes. I will be the first to tell you that balance doesn't always come easy. Obviously, I'm a very independent woman, right? I don't need a man to survive. Uh, I don't need a man in an existential way. Obviously, I need Joey because he contributes so much to our empire. I couldn't do it without him. So yeah, but I don't need him emotionally. You know what I'm saying? I'm free emotionally. I want him to be in my life and vice versa because we bring value into each other's life, right? So running a business, which is more or less, even though I do my business in a very feminine way, still takes certain drivenness, certain masculine energy or masculine quality, for me to keep growing, right? So, and sometimes the clients, they need my masculine energy too, because they are already in their masculine. If I don't surpass their masculine energy with mine, then I would lose their respect because I'm the coach, I'm the teacher. So I'm the one here who has to point them out to the right direction. That is pretty much masculine trait in there. So how do you balance that? Well, when you are at work, you're in masculine, right? And when you're home, you gotta disrobe this masculine facade. And I understand it's not always easy, right? So at least allow yourself, for example, an hour to just transition from doing to being. What can you do, for example, in that hour when you finish working? You can take a double bath, turn the light off, put some candles on, and put some sexy music on, right? You can have a bath and having probably your champagne or your wine, just an hour or maybe a half an hour to yourself out of your thinking mode, just that. And then when you greet your man or talk to your man, you're already transitioning into that feminine, laid back, receptive energy. Does that answer your question, Jacqueline? Okay. This is from Duchess Fawn. How to respond in a feminine way when I feel angry? How can I change my vibration to a happy, relaxed, and full of positivity so he can come to me like I'm a no threat? Duchess Fawn, I have a question first. How often are you angry? Okay, it always boils down to whether or not being angry is your pattern of behaviors. Because if it is a pattern of behaviors, that shows that you are not thinking in the right way. You don't have skillful thinking mastery yet, because you are actually only angry because of the running commentary in your head. Do you realize that? You're not really angry at a person. A person might just say something very innocently, in a general term, but you get offended by it. Does that happen a lot to you? Then in that case, that's not a matter of a guy doing something for you or other people doing things on you. It's you judging yourself because you believe on what that person says or what your mind perceives they say. You make it about you. And because you agree with that judgment, the defensiveness arises, right? That is the process. How do I know these things? Because I'm watching it in myself, and you can too. So watch that reactiveness arises as it is happening. What are you reacting against? What particular thoughts that arise whenever you're feeling this anger arising? And I bet you are thinking that, heck, I'm not that person at all. How dare he say things about me? I'm not at all like that. Whether or not he really says what you think he says, correct? But your reaction shows you your wounds that you need to heal, or your preoccupations about yourself. So, in other words, whatever you're thinking that you perceive as coming from the other person, it's actually your own judgment of yourself. Wow, what a revelation, isn't it? Not many people realize this though, because when you are not judging yourself anymore, you won't be affected by whatever people say out there, whether or not it's directed at you, or you just create an association of what they say into and make it into something about you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So always sit with your feelings. Always ask questions to yourself. What am I thinking, or what was I thinking that I want to punch him in the face right now? Get it? Now, if you're not that kind of person, because I know I'm not that kind of person, when I'm feeling angry, I just be angry. When I'm feeling turned off, I'm just be turned off. When I want to say something to put someone in their position, I will just do it. I don't judge myself afterward. And then I let go. Okay? So I'll express my anger in a way that I see fit in the moment, and every moment might be different. And then I let go. I do not inject more thoughts on why I should or should not have done it. Because the more I discuss it in my head, the more I rationalize it, the more angry I become, and the more entanglement I will experience with myself. Understand? Does that answer your question? Okay, let's see. Another question. This is from Maddie. What is the best way to let go of attachment to a specific outcome? By not thinking about it, Maddie. It's very simple. By realizing that often whatever it is that you attach to, your object of desire, it's really an illusion. Yeah, it is actually great if you reach a certain outcome, but that is not going to be your end all be all. Because with every success, or with every whatever that you desire, will come also its own baggage. So nothing, as I said in a previous class, nothing is what it's cracked up to be, right? Right now, when you're feeling so in love with this dude, oh my God, he is just so marvelous, and I want to be with him. And if I cannot be with him, I'll be shattered. That is the kind of lies you tell yourself, right? The truth is, as I mentioned earlier, being in love is an illusion. It doesn't last. The longest probably you will be in that state of having butterflies in your stomach, it's probably 2 years at the most. And you're on your own after 2 years. Even the most striking, the most sexy, the most successful guys that you were so crazily in love with, sooner or later will just become an ordinary thing, because familiarity breeds contempt, right? and he's gonna show his true colors. There's no way around it, and you're gonna show yours too. So he will step down from his pedestal that you put him onto, that makes you go gaga on him, and see a real person with his flaws and imperfections. Okay, so nothing is going to be exactly what your mind thinks it will be. Your mind has this skill to deceive you, and it's deceiving you all the time. So when you see that, you stop all this attaching to any desire, attaching to any specific outcome. You just do it naturally because you realize you don't need to spend so much of your mental energy attaching to anything. And the minute you realize you understand how to just be, there is no other way you want to be. You want to be in that state of just be. So, Maddie, if you have the means, come to my New Year's Eve event, either 1 day or 3 days, and I'll teach you how. Okay? Is that good enough? This is from Mela. How to stay true to your authentic self, who is independent without being masculine. I already said, be independent as you like. When you're alone, when you're single, when you're at work. When it's not related to your relationship, be as independent as you want. It's great to be an independent woman, meaning that you're not gonna need a guy because you are needy or because you cannot support yourself, for example. But you are with a guy because you want to be, and he adds value into your life. But when it comes to relationship, realize that your best bet is by being a follower, by being receptive. That if you want a masculine man, right? You're attracted to masculine men, right? So you have to be his polar opposite. You cannot be as masculine as the guy you're attracted to for him to want to be in a relationship with you. Because a guy eventually, he wants a woman he can lead. You might not like the word control, but to a masculine man, if he doesn't feel that he has a sense of control, over you in some way, in how the relationship will go, and in how you're going to respect him as a man in the relationship, he is not gonna be able to commit to you. Just as simple as that. Okay. Now I know in the era of feminism that that idea to be led by a man, or to be somehow for a man to have some control over you, is very disgusting. I understand that. But I don't mean control in a sort of pathological way. There are controlling guys, obviously. And those hyper-masculine controlling guys can only be in a relationship with submissive women. So there are those kind of women who are happy in a relationship with hyper-masculine guys. I think most of us, women who grow up in the West, or who pretty much are very successful with their career, can never be in a relationship with a man like that without them suffer in the process. So you're not gonna attract this hyper masculine controlling man because you're not submissive enough. But that is okay. And Joey is not like that either. And I wouldn't be with Joey if he's very super controlling, right? So you will attract the kind of man with blends feminine and masculine energies, one way or another. So As long as you're just receptive in the relationship while maintaining your independence, either financial or emotional, then you're good. You're good. Only those who are emotionally free can really follow a man's lead. So work toward emotional freedom first. And all I teach to you is always boils down to one thing and one thing only: emotional freedom. And I have tons of programs that will lead you toward that end. Okay? How does that? How does that answer you? Dorothy, sorry, that is Mela. Now, I'm answering Dorothy. How can I melt a man's heart? Dorothy, I have a program just called that. 4 components of melting his heart. So invest in yourself, sign up. These programs have given birth to many engagements. Okay, so there are 4 components. Number 1, trusting him. Do you have a problem with trusting a man? Are you always suspicious? Are you always jealous? Did your insecurities always kick in whenever you are with a guy? Then you have trust issues. So work on it. Number 2, appreciating him. A lot of women always tend to focus on the stuff that he doesn't do. Instead of focus on positivity and let it expand, they focus on negativity. And then of course, the negativity will also expand, because energy goes where you focus on, where you pay your attention to. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, component number 3 is respecting his leadership. That goes back to the very thing that we just talked about. Can you trust his leadership? Do you want him to be a leader of the relationship, or you have a hard time doing that? Because if you're not trusting a man to be a leader in the relationship will not fly. Maybe he's not the right man for you. So get off his train. And that's okay too. Find a man you can trust, right? Number 4, it's connection instead of communication. That is something that is so rarely advised out there. Okay, maybe I'm just about the very few coaches or relationship experts who don't teach you communication. And in fact, I tell you to talk less, and the results have been phenomenal. The truth is, ladies, communication is not why your relationships is in a hard place. It's connection. The connection is waning and fading. That is why. That is the background why communication becomes so difficult, because you no longer feel connected to each other. And when you no longer feel connected to each other, it's very easy to construe every attempt of communicating as an insult, as a slight, because you don't have that emotional closeness anymore with your partner. So for components of melting his heart, I go very deep on these things. How to build connections with your man. How to mend this waning connection. And what I teach is a path of no resistance. If you stop resisting him, if you stop resisting yourself, you will build that connection again. And I'm telling you, I'm going to teach this in the Leaning Back and Cultivating Feminine workshop on New Year's Day, just one day before the party in this beautiful home. So sign up for that. It will change your love life. I promise you. Okay? Nobody who's staying with me for years and years are not in some way seeing results in their lives one way or another. See results. It's not possible not to. Okay? Okay, let's see from Sadika. How do you get over sexual hang-ups? Sometimes I'll meet a guy I'm attracted to, but they push so hard, it's a turn off. Sadika, I know you're a virgin, right? How old are you again? You're in your 20s, right? And I already said that, the longer you wait, the longer you stay a virgin, it's going to be harder and harder for you to break the curse. I'm telling you just to lose your virginity because that is the reality of our world today. Okay. But more than anything, the fact that you are hung up on sex tells you something area that you need to work on. You just have a hard time connecting to your feminine sexuality. You have a hard time trusting a guy that he will take care of you, that you have a hard time believing in it. And maybe it goes back to your relationship with your husband. But I have this module 4, which is celebrating your feminine sexual trauma. You might want to sign up and explore there. Okay, this is not the right time and place to go deep into that because it takes major work, pretty much. So, sex is supposed to be something natural. Don't you agree? Right? It is. It is part of being human. So if you have a hard time accepting that part, that inherent part of yourself, then yeah, you're gonna have a problem dealing with man. You're gonna have a problem having a relationship because for the most part, relationship is so related to sex. That's why I don't teach you to wait for sex, to make sex a bargaining chip, because it's not working. It doesn't work. Trust me on that. And I never teach you to feel guilty about sex, to feel shame and guilty about sex. So explore that shame and guilt in yourself. Why do you feel so not right about sex? Why the healthy drive for sex, for example? Okay, it takes more work than this class can cover, unfortunately, Sadika. So talk to me after the class, and we can find a way. So maybe you hop on a plan or something if you don't have the means. All right, Sadika. This is from Connie. How to better manage my time with a job, kids, friends, etc. How to manage money better too. Oh, gosh, Connie. This is like time management. That is, again, that kind of question requires a lot of thoughts. How to. So talk to me or PM me. I or come to my retreat. Because it takes a long time for me to explain that. Okay. Let's see here. Anyone else have any questions? This is from Andrea, of jealousy. Again, like every emotion, just sit with it. You're feeling jealous because you feel inadequate, right? You're not gonna feel jealous of someone who is uglier than, is less successful than you, or who less in any way than you, right? You only when you perceive that someone is more than you, whether or not that perception, instead of getting jealous, maybe ask yourself, if you, first of all, just sit with the emotions. If the emotion doesn't subside, then you can, maybe you're jealous of somebody in your perception who is so like successful, desired by men, maybe assumptions. Yeah, from afar, everything looks rosy. You know that, right? You don't know what happened behind closed doors. You don't, depression or whatever things that, but that's not happening. The outer persona is this happy-go-lucky woman, clamor around her. That could also be your perception, and your perception very much related with your realm, your inner realm. Okay, so because so perceptions is related to your own personal stories. So challenge those stories. Okay, so is that good enough, Andrea? This is from Tina. Pat, thank you for sharing this with us. I love and respect your transparency. Oh, the feeling is mutual. Back at ya, lady. All right. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay, ladies. There is no more question. I think that is enough for today. And I'll see you again probably, a week or two from now. And I believe there will be also new engagement news. And I invite you to, once again, come to the New Year Eve's event